So roll call. New?
Hi, yes.
Hi, why don't you introduce yourself and we'll introduce ourselves to
Sure.
you.
Well, I am happy to be here officially. My name is Trish Moiko Tobin. Hello, everybody. And I come to you from Webster University. I'm a journalism professor there.
Oh,
And
retired from there.
you are?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is my 31st year as a journalist. So I'm also a working journalist. And I'm happy to be here. You know, the past 3 decades, I've covered pretty much the whole span of the arts community locally. So I thought I could contribute that way since I'm pretty much involved in every aspect of the arts.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
And we are,
I'm Taylor, new to Webster as of July.
Oh, wow.
I'm Dottie Inglis. I just retired. I retired from Webster 2 years ago from the
Okay.
conservatory. And I've been in Webster Grove since 1998. So introduce guests and
Beth Crowley. I've been in Webster, well, I grew up in Webster, moved away for about 16 years and bounced back and worked at museums in part of my career in communications. So that's why I'm here.
Brett Ellis, Fire Chief. Good morning.
and from distance.
Oh, Janice Seeley, been in Webster for over 35 years, so involved in various arts organizations and currently the chair.
Anybody else want to introduce themselves? In Zoom land?
Zoomland, Jan Shapiro. I've been in Webster for 7.5 years.
Hi, Maud Trost, 11 years in Webster, and I work for St. Louis Economic Development Partnership, but have been engaged in some regional arts events and wanted to get more involved more locally. Trish, would you mind spelling your last name for me?
Sure. It is MUYCO hyphen T as in Thomas OBIN. Moiko Tobin.
MUYCO-TOB as in boy IN.
Correct.
And is Alex, Rick, Judith, David, or Rob there? And that's
David.
Dottie. David's there? Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Brett, you introduced yourself to Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Hi. Let's get started then with visitor comments. I guess it's a three minutes.
This is start now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you're the first thing.
My name's Stefan. I am over on the east side of Webster. I've been here for 30 years, most of 30. I have an art project that is eating at me, and I wanted to see if you guys could help me because I don't know how to do it. Every day I walk my dog over at Eden Seminary, and in their back lot, they've got some overgrown area with light standards. The cement poles, slightly kind of decorative, not too over the top, but the rumor is, the story goes, the legend goes, is that a president several 20, 30 years ago bought these for $1 from somebody who didn't need them. And he was expecting to go ahead and put these up. Never happened. So they've been sitting there ever since with stuff growing over them. They just cleaned out that area and they're sitting in a pile. And it made me panic because I didn't want to lose them. I see all kinds of ideas with these things as far as like, I've got pictures of them here. This actually, I called the manufacturer of the light bulb. And they gave me drawings of the actual light bulb order where they were to track it down. So I look at those and I see flower stems upside down. I see candlesticks. I see lots of ideas, tons of ideas. I like to think big. I don't know how to proceed. I've thought about, there are about 17 of those laying in a stack. I've thought about like a bouquet of flowers, taking off the candle looking part. With, yeah, you can see it. Some sort of colored glass, maybe with a flower, colored glass. They're wired for, or they're made to be wired for electricity, so we could light them up if we wanted to. The purpose of me here is I don't want to waste those. I think they'd be fun to play with. But the first thing about how I go about doing it, I love the idea of managing a project. But again, this is not my area, so I thought I'd come to you to ask. I hope that was less than 3 minutes. I can talk about this all day.
Very good.
Great.
So you guys, this isn't on the green space, this is behind.
This is, so they, I don't know if you've been behind Eden, but their maintenance buildings
Right.
and their green court, yeah, they're out there. They just put them out there
Okay.
on the green court that they've got.
But they're the property of Eden, right?
So I went to Webster Arts and talked with Heather. Some of you know who Heather is, and she was super enthusiastic about me coming here to talk with you about this. She gave me a number for the director of facilities at Eden Seminary, Todd Tyson. Spoke with him, and he too sounded enthusiastic, but I don't know if it was so much getting rid of the lamppost or if he's interested in supporting her.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like it'd be difficult to get them.
So what is it you think you want from us?
So,
Guidance
well,
or,
yeah, I've never done anything this big.
okay,
I was thinking one big installation, a couple of little installations. I was thinking of,
on their property?
well, Bulls on Broadway. Why couldn't we do something like Lamps on Lockwood? Or,
Oh, you want to take them out of the
I am-
property and put them someplace in the city?
I'm not saying.
Well,
I'm saying-
I mean, that's,
I'm saying, what would you like to do?
An
No,
idea.
These are ideas that I have. And for me, it doesn't really matter. I've got too many ideas to work with. I want to save these things and not waste them and put them in a landfill or just, they're nice. I can't let them get.
So are you talking about undertaking the entire project yourself or just taking the lead and overseeing like a group?
I'm gonna let you guys tell me.
Oh.
I would like to have hands-on, I would like to make it happen.
Ooh.
That's-
Don't worry about it.
I tried to put it someplace safe.
That's
What-
why I have dark card.
What did Webster Arts tell you? Because frankly, I was gonna say, I'm gonna direct you to Webster Arts.
Oh,
that's exactly what I was gonna
I talked with Heather and she recommended this meeting. She talked to me about the seminary. I've never been to meetings before, so I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think Rick should be here. I mean, Rick is the person I think you should talk to because
Yes.
he's president of the city museum. And that's all they do is rehabbing and taking stuff. And I mean, so his people may look at that and say, oh yeah, I have 15 ideas and here's what it would cost. And I
Yeah.
think that his brain on this would be
I would
great.
agree. I think so.
And who is this?
Rick Irwin, he's on this council, but he's not here today. Our commission. But I think he would be able to give you some kind of, or us or whoever, some good next steps about like, hey, let me go out and take a look at these things. I'm sure he would have a bunch of ideas or say how hard it would be or how easy it would be or whatever. And that might be a good starting point to see
You
like,
know where grants
what's
are
feasible.
available or
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
Which I think, yeah,
or
you,
he may even have a purpose for them in the city museum, which may not be ideal for Webster, but it gets that,
Well, yeah, and I was
they're-
trying to do something
yeah.
here,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but
Would you like to leave us your contact information?
I can do that,
And then we can give it to Rick and get you guys to have a conversation?
sure. Did you still want to talk about anything?
I was just gonna say, I think this is a really cool idea and I like it. One thing I think that we struggle as a city is having public funds for public purposes like this. And so as you'll see up there, we have an action item for supporting the Webster Groves Public Art Fund. So we're starting to talk about everything. This council, this commission nor this council really has money available quite yet. I think we're heading in that direction.
Mhm.
So I think that's gonna be an obstacle, but from a team perspective or like from a labor perspective, I think you'll be able to find the people that you need.
I mean, the students and.
Absolutely.
And even the grade schools decorating the poles with some sort of, I like mosaics.
Yeah.
You know, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But the ideas are not the problem. It's just how.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Rick will definitely be a big assistance there. And then I see no obstacle in the aspect that if something were to come along, the city being willing to work with you in figuring out where it can go in the city.
Okay.
It probably just needs a little more form.
I didn't want to put too much effort into it if it wasn't going to be interesting, so.
This sounds amazing.
Oh, good.
And I
I'm
think,
glad.
and I think it's a good way to remember Eden too, particularly as they decide what they're gonna do.
Do it all flowers and call it the garden.
Absolutely.
Sorry to interject on a creative conversation, but keeping records. Stephen, what's your last name?
My last name's Bent, B-E-N-T.
And where's this potential art project? I couldn't hear.
It doesn't have a location yet. It's just
Sure.
an idea
Okay.
at this point. I don't know.
So
if
just
it's-
a random material someplace?
I've
that you
got,
thought-
I've got materials that look
Oh, okay.
like they have great potential, and I'm looking there for guidance.
But if I drive back there, I can see these poles?
Yeah, they're just
Okay,
in the back
okay.
lot.
Got it.
I've got it here.
Okay, great, great.
And what is your background?
I have an artsy fartsy soul, but I'm an engineer.
Okay.
So details are fun for me.
So have you done any kind of sculptural work like this in the past?
I do mosaics. I've got a couple mosaics. I hang them on the side of the house.
Awesome.
And
Very cool.
I have more ambition than skill.
Don't we all?
Which is why I'm looking for help.
How many poles are there? How many?
I think 17, there might be some breakage, but probably still one of the things, break it up and turn it into a snake. It's got a snake's mouth on the end of it.
Can I suggest that we put this, if people are interested, on a later
Yes, absolutely.
agenda, because we're already at 7:44 and we have a long agenda today.
I told you I could.
It's okay.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
really
yeah.
quick.
Okay.
I just
You're gonna
have,
be quick.
and 50 years ago, I was an undergraduate journalism major, so just saying.
Good to know.
I have some comments and questions really quick. One is just what's the status of City of the Arts? Yes or no being an official slogan or recommended the official slogan for Webster Groves. We've got it on the banners. It started 6 years ago out of this commission. Is what started. I think Jerry was behind it and Katie Cahoon, John Ahern, et cetera. The comprehensive plan people were in yesterday presenting to the plan commission. They've got City of the Arts as one of their pillars, community pillars. So people are using it, but yet it's not the official slogan. And I think it's just kind of, and I think the original thing came from the Arts Commission 6-7 years ago. So I just want to know where you guys are about it. I sent an email around about an expanded vision of the Jerry Welch Sculpture Garden eventually, which includes, those two side streets. Number one, they're unnamed. Number two, they're really short. They're just cut throughs. And traffic does not need them because they can go to the intersection of Gore and Kirkham and make their turns. But you guys are all into public art. You could paint those streets and make them community walk spaces. You could name the streets like Jerry Lane or Welch's Way, but it'd be an expanded vision of the sculpture garden. And I just think it's a great idea. So I'm just putting it on the table. Snars, the east side of the building, it's a white canvas. It's perfect, but Frank will not pull the trigger on John Ahern's great artwork for the east side. Marilyn Bradley painted the west side, which is the treescape. Frank Blair said that if he does something, he wants it to be hardware oriented. And I don't know if I've shared it with, but John Ahern did this fantastic mural with tools and stuff. But Frank won't pull the trigger. So just so you know that. I don't know if you guys have talked to Jim Onder of the Ozark Theater, but he's open for ideas of what, he's got his own ideas of what he wants to do inside the theater. But given that you guys are the City Arts Commission, I'm just saying you should be talking to him. I mean, and to build a relationship, because this is one of the best things that's ever happened to Western Rose in a long, long time. Let's see. And then in our little group, our Follow Your Heart, third annual Follow Your Heart. amateur art show is coming up Saturday, April the 19th. Beth knows about it because Henry and Lucy were participants last year, and I hope they are again this year. So that's really fun. And then the other thing is that Webster Arts did do an event called Chalk Fest, and they did it on the Emmanuel, and I participated in it, and it was just chalk, sidewalk chalk. But they passed on it this year because of other priorities. And so Jenny Donaldson and Heather basically have given it to us, our little group. And so we're thinking seriously about doing it. And see, we would love to do it either in like a church parking lot again, or on those side streets by the sculpture garden. You know, get the police to block them off temporarily, have the kids come and do Chalk Fest on those side streets, and it would be great. So anyway, that's where we are. The arts are everything. And our little group is very supportive of what you guys do. So
What is the, I'm very new here. What is the name of your group?
we are known as WCC with the Webster Creative Community. We're a little group of allies. Independent, we don't gain city approval. I mean,
Sure.
we just do it on our own. And,
Wow.
and
Jester,
the city graciously lets us do it, you know, so it's a nice thing.
just to respond to one of your points, I am connected to Jim Onder, and very excited to bring that connection to this
It's
group,
huge.
though.
It's just huge.
Really excited about that project.
Well, and relatedly, just so you know, and I think David's seen some emails on this. Project W has like 20 different projects for Parks and Recreation. One of them is called the Outdoor Performance Park. It's budgeted as the second most expensive project to the renovation of the swimming pool, the aquatic center, the water park. But I and our little allies, we're totally against it for a number of reasons. We love the arts, don't get us wrong. We just think that there are other ways to spend that money. And we really just don't think the city needs it, particularly given that the Ozark Theater is going to be coming online year round versus an outdoor performance park, which is only going to be open 3 months a year or in good weather. So I'm not for it. So, and I don't know what the Dark Commission will take a position on any of these projects, but we're taking a position on that one.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Anybody? Okay,
Thanks, Dave.
all right. Can we approve the minutes of October, November, December, and January?
I move. I don't see any, I
Second.
think Mom's done a great job.
I second.
Let's consider them approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Yay. The Jerry Welch Sculpture Garden naming, dedication, and ceremony.
I'm here, Rick. Hello. Sorry, I was listening earlier, sir. I heard your whole story. Well, I'm happy to talk to you. It'll be great. We'll have a good time.
Awesome.
So on Jerry Walsh Sculpture Garden, I just emailed you guys some 4 renderings early on. It's really just scroll work and some signage. There's these 2 retaining walls that act as benches that would be very nicely easy to place. Jerry seemed very open with it. I forwarded it to Judy since she has a relationship with Jerry that I do not have. I felt like maybe she could feel her out better to see if she really likes it, where she's just being nice to me. But Andrew and her had a great relationship, and Sean, who is, I think, the production manager in graphics, they came up with a couple ideas, really thinking about keeping it light, keeping it around, making sure you could see the sculptures through and everything. So please take a look at that. I just emailed it to you guys, and we can go from there. It's still early on because we'll still have to present to Scott at City Parks and Rec.
Hey, Rick, if you could estimate a time frame, what do you think?
I'm still getting that information. I'm sorry. I would say at least another month in just design, but the actual production of it looks like it'd be CNC cutouts, depending on which way they go, with the exception of the scroll filigree work that Andrew would do. That's mostly wrought iron. So I don't think it'd be too long. I could see you doing a spring or summer.
Spring or summer? Okay.
Yep.
Then I need to pull together the planning group. Just wanted to find out about when it might be before we did that.
It'd be good for us to also look at all those other sculptures in that area to make sure they're cleaned up and done beforehand. Because Jerry's gonna point that out if we do anything.
Janice, you should, let me put you in contact with our PR person here, because they can help you with, creating Facebook posts and everything like that when you guys are ready to actually
Wonderful.
advertise.
Wonderful. And Webster Arts does want to be part of it, so we should have a good group planning it.
Excellent.
Big deal.
Great.
It was
Anything
very
else?
cool. The ideas look really awesome.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, they
Yeah.
kind of spoke it out together, Jerry and the two guys. It was nice.
Great. Okay, banner update.
I've got the banner here.
Ah,
I'm not on the laptop, so thanks, Janet. We got it here for the team here, but there you go. That was on the flash drive, so.
So this is a revised design for the replacement banners.
I think that's
That's
the
the
original.
that's the original
Yeah,
design.
it looks original.
Original design.
Okay.
There has been no update.
Really just so we can get it in and get it going.
Yeah.
So do we want to just, considering the state, what do people want to do? Do you want to go through, seeing if we can redesign? Do we want to just reprint what we've got?
I think if that gentleman's willing to pay and sponsor, we get them up right away and just get looking.
I
Thank you.
agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So next step would be to, I guess, Brett, you've got the file now. Have the city, have them produced and then submit an invoice to Michael? Is that the procedure?
Do we know like what vendor, I think that Jan, you had talked about maybe being able to touch base with John, because I wasn't successful in getting in touch with him about the vendor that was used. Or if we have that somewhere in the city's files about what vendor was used for the production last time. Or if there
John.
are approved vendors.
He doesn't remember
Okay.
the vendor, but
There's lots of different printers who could do it. I just don't, are there restrictions in terms of who? No. Okay.
I
he
mean, there-
said that someplace that was that Webster used. That's what John remembers it.
Probably the place they closed and it was owned by the Roths.
That could be it. That could be it. Yes.
Brett, does the city have a vendor that they usually use for this kind of thing?
I can ask and get back to you about it. I couldn't answer that at this moment.
Do we want to make a motion approving this to set the process forward with the city? Like, because the city may need to make an agreement with the sponsor for the banners, and then the city can go forward within their own process of procuring the banners.
Yeah, I can bring this up tonight at council and ask our city attorney what the next step is, and I can report back to you guys via email.
That would be great.
Great.
It would also be nice to get Mike Silverman's a gentle guy. He's probably the best musician. He's worldwide. I mean, he's a composer and stuff. To thank him, and Ray have an article about it in the West Kirkwood Times. I mean, this is really a generous thing from Mike.
I would suggest, David, that maybe, and Dottie, like maybe we just make a motion that we're approving if we want to approve these, and then really it's just about the city
Yeah,
finalizing
Maybe-
any procurement,
I think-
and then we go ahead and if there's anything we need to do to help out.
I think you want to approve the design and then also, like putting it forward to council. Maybe just do it that way.
So
And putting in what to?
Putting it forward to council, pushing it forward to council.
Can that be
putting
one
it-
motion?
Yeah,
I move that we approve the design and put the idea forward to council for production.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Progress. Progress. All right, lifetime achievements in the arts planning.
the event is on the 18th. It's an event, it's going to be a proclamation. Laura said she would give the proclamation I sent, and Brent sent out a small a paragraph that I pulled together from various sources on Tom Engelhardt. I sent that to Katie Nakazano as well. She is going to write an official proclamation based upon that information. It's going to be very simple. Just at the very start of this ceremony, Tom's daughter, Mary Beth Lametta, is going to come to accept the award. I would like to go to the Historical Society and see if they get, which has most of his artwork. They gave him like hundreds of pieces of art. See if we can get a sampling, put them on a poster and have it available just so people can see it is what I would like to do.
I can take that on. I'm in contact with them on a separate project, so I can work with them on collecting and setting up kind of a display of some of those illustrations.
Oh, great. Who is that? I can't see.
Taylor.
Oh, great. Well, that'd be wonderful, Taylor.
Great.
That'd be wonderful. And you had an award certificate that you designed. Do you have a?
Yes, I did not bring a copy. It's the last draft is the one I sent to you, Janice, and it's pretty basic, nice document. My question is, who should it go to for printing and framing?
What size is it?
I think it's drafted to be sort of a 8.5 by 11, frankly, like a full document. But if we wanted to go to 8 by 10, kind of more typical certificate size, we could go whatever route you want. It's full resolution and ready to go. And it's the first draft was emailed to the group. So if you want to see that early draft, I can also recirculate the revised draft, which is just a little simpler. So
I guess the thing to do would be put it in probably 8.5 by 10 would be, we could just get a ready-made frame more easily.
Yeah.
8.5 by 10.
Yeah, does everybody agree with that? Just because then we can just get an off the shelf frame.
That was the next question, was what frame does the commission want for the award?
The Peter Sargent's was a glass translucent kind of a frame on a stand. It was kind of heavy. The frame was frankly more of a statement than the certificate inside it, for lack of a better thing. But I do think simple and clean, therefore, is the better way to go.
And it's currently designed to be horizontal rather than vertical.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the last one's vertical. I can change it to, I have no attachment to it.
I think I think what you've done is lovely. Do one of us, do we want to work on just finding an appropriate frame? How about the two of us?
Let's do it.
Taylor and I work on selecting an appropriate frame, and then somehow somebody will reimburse us. Do we have a spending limit on that?
Yeah, so I mean, last time I asked finance, there was about $3,800 in the Arts Commission budget.
Total.
Total. So, I mean, you would have
$30.
funding to use. from there
$30.
If you choose to.
I think that's probably.
That's kind of where I was going, 10%. Okay. Okay, so Taylor and I will take that on.
You know, the other thing, if I could just add, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on past Black Achievement Awards, John Ahern also drew a caricature. And he's really good at it, but I'm pretty sure that he has done that.
Who's John?
Well, he used to be a member of this commission.
I don't think that's happened recently.
Yeah.
Maybe not recently, but okay,
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Does he do the ones that are at the cafe
Do you
next
look
to the
at
Ozark?
No, that's somebody else.
Yeah, I think that maybe.
There's in your figure.
I was here, the Zoom right now says 8 o'clock, so I came here at 8.
Yes, it did. I had to go to this to figure it out.
Sorry.
Very interesting.
Okay,
There was one question, if I could just ask Janice, on the proclamation information, which I thought was really nicely done. It kind of left me wanting to know like his history of Webster, like how long he lived here. I don't think there was any mention of his actual, do we have any of that information?
I couldn't.
Or where he lives?
You know who would know that is Jerry.
Yeah.
I can reach out to Jerry and get that information.
Or David, actually, Pam Bliss was the one who forwarded Tom's info, so maybe she.
Okay.
It'd just be nice
I'll-
to say, a 2-decade resident or something like that within it, to tie it to the city.
Anything else on that event from anybody?
Who writes what the blurb is in the proclamation?
Janice, who's writing the blurb?
Katie Nakazano,
Yeah, I just sent Katie.
who's the city clerk, she said she would put it into whatever line, because I asked her if they had, a stock proclamation that that Laura could read, and she said she would take our information and put it into one.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, moving forward, new business. The Journey to Webster Grove's Community Engagement Survey results.
And looking at this, it actually refers to what Dave was talking about. It refers to our budget request, and who we want to be. And looking at it, the city really, the community really appreciates the arts in this community. And as I look at it, it's a very important, it's one of the important core values of the city. To Dave's point earlier, we are not an official city of the arts. And we are, and this is my opinion, we are really, really fortunate that we have Webster University here. And because we have Webster University, we have a lot of theater, we've got the Rep, we've got the opera, we have many, many artists who live here, and we have many galleries. We have a very creative community. But I wonder what the city is doing to, what really as a city we're doing to support them, because we have a minimal budget. And so to the point with the visitors, what do we do? How can we really support the arts? Can we put together a public art fund? How do we get more money to actually put forth public art? It's been a while since we put any out there. And that was a private, basically it was Jerry hitting a lot of individuals to see if we could fund it. Additionally, we're supposed to encourage and engage organizations. So could we be setting up different arts roundtables to find out, from the performing arts organizations, how do you need to be supported? How can we work together and facilitate working together so we can be stronger as an arts community in that respect? Do we do the same thing with visual artists, with musical artists? So basically, I think as we go into the budget planning, what do we want to do? Who do we want to be? And I personally would love to see us come up with a formal Cities of the Arts name for the city or logo for the city. But I think that requires that we put resources behind that to support it, and not just say, we are really lucky to live in this really artsy city.
The past fund solicitation notes that donations would be fully tax deductible. Is the Public Art Fund an existing 501c3? It doesn't exist anymore? Okay.
So I brought this just because I know it had been used in the past. And so just, we had one copy that I received. So if you want to.
Senator Historical Society.
I agree with you about getting together with groups in the town. I want to say about 15 years ago, I was a representative from Webster to talk to just a lot of different arts people in the arts in the city, or I think is what I call official organizations, and it was really kind of eye-opening and to get everybody in the same room and everybody to talk about what they were doing, and that gave us a better, at Webster, what other places there were doing arts in the city. And I think that would be, we're all a little siloed, I think, in terms of how we do art here, and to integrate that would and make it more of a real community, I think would be a really good goal.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm thinking of my own projects, and some of the stuff that I was thinking about is bringing schools into it, letting a business do it, letting a school do it, using Webster University as a resource, so that this is more a cooperative project than just one person making something. I think putting the entire city's name on a project, it goes towards what you guys are trying to do as far as making the city a city of arts.
I also think people talking to each other as people who know each other is different than organizations talking to each other. And I'm not sure that's been facilitated at any central place. And I like your idea too of breaking it into starting with maybe the different kinds of arts that we have. I bet we don't even know how many places we have here in the city.
Make a register.
Yeah.
That's part of the.
But see, Diane, the perception is as a resident, somebody involved in the arts, is that the Arts Commission has, I think, stated that public art is your focus, maybe your sole focus. And you're right, there are a lot of other arts, but I think this commission has said, no, it's public art. And that's why the sculpture garden makes tons of sense. But
Which is
there are
why
certainly other things that this commission could be involved with.
Well,
Yeah,
it is also to support and encourage the arts. And so
Yeah.
that's where helping arts organizations work together, I think could fall into that, and allowing people to, have a forum to collaborate.
Yeah, we changed our Facebook front page of a lot of that in terms of supporting the arts in general. I think about a year and a half ago.
I think on the main city hall page though,
Yeah.
it's still very visual arts heavy. So as somebody, I mean, this is only my second meeting. But somebody who is from the outside looking in,
Right.
there is a definitely an emphasis on visual arts, which when I saw it and I looked at it, I thought, oh, well, maybe, we need to bring in the performing arts as well, because you've got two world-class arts organizations here, Opera Theater and the Rep. And I am close to the executive directors of both organizations, and I know that they are really eager to collaborate. I just think there is such a disconnect because, you go to the Webster Grove City Hall website and you'll see that, and it doesn't feel like the
Right.
performing arts are included in it.
I agree.
Mhm.
I think that's.
Well, I think that there has been, I think if you look at whatever's called the charter, how this was
That's what I was
established,
reading,
it
yeah.
is written
Yeah.
that this is, and I think that's what, Mayor Welch at the time was very focused on, was public art. And so that's why this commission came to be. Not to say it can't evolve, but I think there needs to be a thoughtful idea of if it does evolve, and I think it has evolved a little bit, and then it's kind of come back, but what budget can be devoted if there's a public art fund, and also what staffing model, because it's easy to think of great ideas, and ideas are awesome, but then how are those then transitioned and executed when we don't have like a actual staff, it's a volunteer, like are people here actually willing to be like executing these ideas, because there's not the city staff to bring a lot of these to life. So is it a partnership? Is it what it looks like? So I think in the past, we've had these kind of grand ideas and then thinking about like, okay, how do we actually get them done? There's just not the actual manpower to execute some of the plans that we had or the budget. So I think that
Unless we do it.
yeah, and and maybe people here are willing to like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do and have extra time to help, and that's great. Some other people are like, okay, I only have a couple hours to devote a month, and so that's fine too, but you have to just keep that in mind. But I do think that it looks like we have to now associate a work plan with our committee, our commission, and a budget to, go along with that. And so I think that'll help us really frame out like, okay, what is feasible? What can we do?
Right.
What can we request to make it happen, right? Like, so that'll help kind of ground the work, which is nice in a way, because we have to,
Yeah, it's very specific, kind of what they're looking for.
yeah.
I would like to move that we bring together kind of a subcommittee to do exactly what you're describing, Janice, kind of respond to the results of that survey, do a deep dive into the kind of mission and vision of this commission, and to discuss whether that needs to be reevaluated in conversation around the 2026 budget and project stuff. Basically have kind of more of a working session around that, whether or not it's a full subcommittee, I don't have a preference on, but I definitely think one of the things that we struggle with is trying to get everything done in the kind of 90 minutes of these monthly meetings. So I'm happy to help coordinate that effort if that would be useful to folks. And I guess I don't know if that needs to be a motion, but you tell me.
I think, because I'm glad, because I was going to suggest that we do that, because we really need to have some more in-depth discussion and ideation and put together a plan. Now, later we need to put together a formal budget request, but really talking about where we think this could be and what we would want included, that we would then have to put together a budget for. And Brett, we need to turn in a budget request in March, is it?
That's correct.
Okay.
When in March?
Maybe we can finalize it at this board or this commission's March meeting, and then we can turn it in after that.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's have a working session before, like, to kind of generate what we'll review at our March meeting and then get that out into the world by the end of March.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, and who's talking?
Sorry, it's Taylor again.
Oh, hey, Taylor. I can't see anything in there. I've got just a blur over. Do we, who would like to be on part of this a meeting to discuss? Who's available?
I'll be on it. Trish.
Janice?
Yes, I'll-
Well, I don't.
Okay, I heard Trish, Dottie,
Rob,
Rob.
and I see Jan's hand up. Is there anybody else? Because again, I can't see. So, and I don't know that Maud can see either to take notes on that.
I have Taylor leading this, and then participants are Trish, Dottie, Janice, Jan, Rob.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Oh. Yeah. So Trish, will you put out a note to just get a meeting on everybody's plate?
Taylor, yes, I will.
Taylor, I'm sorry. yeah,
Trish and I
Taylor.
will knock it out together. Yes. Yeah, so we'll meet between now and March 4th and we'll review our kind of generations.
Yeah.
On board.
And one thing, and this is part of the budget request also, I'd talked to Alex last month as well, since he couldn't come to we had a little get together just to get to know each other a little bit better. And just asked, if one of our goals, just maybe before we talk in our subgroup, if one of the goals would be to have at least one piece of public art placed this next year, what would that cost? Just as an idea. And he said, he said, if we had a budget of $20,000, that would include installation, probably things that would be covered by some of the other commissions. But he thinks that if we could get a piece of art on loan, $20,000 could handle it. So I'm just throwing that out there.
So for some closure, just on the report, getting ready for FY26, March 15th is when council is asked to have these returned by. For you to have your mission, vision, plan, and budget. So
Cool. Thank you.
good timing for the next meeting.
March. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And so Jan, just so on the next agenda for next month, this will be a topic of conversation, correct?
Definitely.
After the subcommittee meets, okay.
Right, definitely.
I think that takes us through A, B, and C under new business because they're all integrated with each other. So we'll move on to the community arts updates. I'm not sure what that is.
On behalf of the Theater Guild, I guess, we are still working toward our centennial season. Theater Guild of Webster Groves. One question we sort of chronically have is I'm trying to dig into the private lane there, Theater Lane. We found a sponsor to get that surface, get a bunch of those holes repaired. So that's great news. In the past, when I've tried to connect with the city particularly about maintenance of that road, the response is it's a privately owned road. So we're having conversations around how can we do more enforcement of that, because we have people that park there all the time, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, updated website, updated email list. Check out the Guild. We're hoping to someday be on that list of high profile theaters in Webster.
Is it owned by the theater, that building?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the building is owned by the C3, the Theater Guild, and then the street is as well. So that's why we couldn't get plowed.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, right up there.
And there you are.
Yeah.
I think we need to figure a way to change that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we would love to not own the street if we can
How
get
did
it.
you guys get ownership of the street?
It's like just part of our plot decree
Right?
sort of
Can
thing.
you just give it to the city?
I know, like, we
Yeah.
don't want, like, please, it's not great
You
for
could
parking
donate it.
anyway. Yeah, I would
Maybe
love
you
to do
tax
that.
right up there.
Yeah, so I've just finally joined their board.
We found our
so-
first piece of public art. There we go.
There you go.
You
That's
know,
where we get
The surface is so bad, you
We
can
can
never
paint
chalk
it,
it.
chalk it.
We sculpture chalk.
Yeah, grass over it. Who mows that little
Good,
card?
Richard, Sarah.
Anything else?
That's crazy.
That's, yeah.
Opera, I was gonna, Opera Theater has their new works collective, this next weekend.
Okay.
It's 3 days, 3 short 20-minute operas, that they commissioned, to represent a wide variety of viewpoints. So that's coming up. It's something this is their 3rd year of doing that.
Where's the location for it?
It's gonna be a Coca.
Okay.
And it looks like the rep is coming back very well. I mean, the audiences have grown. And everything seems to be coming along really well, which is very exciting,
They've had sold out performances
Yeah.
for the last couple of shows. So.
which has not been the case for a while.
Exactly, yes.
So that's exciting as well.
Can I ask a question in that regard, Dottie, if you don't mind? I know the city has done Piano Fest with Mike Silverman in front of the Masonic Temple, I think a couple of times, but it wasn't held last year, and I don't think it's scheduled this year. I'm just asking why, because it was very well attended, huge crowd, and
That was not, it wasn't the city of Webster, it was their decision.
who did it?
The Piano Fest, I mean, whoever puts together the
It's
Piano
Michael.
Fest, that was their decision not to do it last summer. So we're.
So Mike put it on, I thought the city.
No, Mike.
No, Mike put, yeah, we just help.
Just
We just
Okay,
help with those
well.
kind of things. So when things don't, yeah, they just alert us that it's happening and then we'll just see how we can help.
But what about the Roots concert? in
That's the
Mercer
same
Park?
thing.
Same thing, Walter Parks puts that on?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And
I thought
I think we spend a little money on
Yeah, we
that.
spent a little, yeah, it was, yeah.
And yeah, we try to help them with that probably.
Okay.
I think if the Arts Commission sponsors it, then that means they get in some city services that are included that they don't have to pay for. So they come and ask for, can we work together? And then it's
Exactly.
like,
It's not- Yeah, we don't actually manage it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and there's probably traffic control or something like that that needs to be helped with, so.
Plowing.
Well, that's in July.
Sweeping. Not this year. Yeah. There you go, that's for you.
No, I mean, if I can just add, and I apologize, but it's like, versus like getting you down. I think the arts are celebrated year round in Webster. You got the Webster Arts Fair, which draws thousands. You got the Jazz and Blues Festival, which draws 10 or 12,000 people in one day. You got the Old Gazebo Music Festival, for 6 weeks. Packed. I mean, people love events in this town and they love the arts. I think you just gotta come up with the ideas and go for it. I mean, I think we're a very supportive arts community, but this city already puts on fantastic events and, to be celebrated.
I think what has been in the back of a lot of people's mind isn't that we don't have enough arts, it's just like your theater guild. How do you just make sure that people are aware of of the events, of the repertory theater, of the theater guild. And how do we just make sure it's just open to not just the few people who know about it, but kind of just like, these are the dates, this is, come,
Yeah.
come, this is, yeah. Cause sometimes I didn't know about the theater guild till like 5 years ago or
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, it's just kind of it's so quirky and out of the way and in its own little world. And the opera theater too, when there's great things happening there, I think it's just kind of like the opera people who are kind of like in the little world that go to the opera theater kind of know that it's happening, but there's been really great events with the opera theater or the rep theater, and it just would be nice that
If
it
it were
just
more
gets more
forward.
exposure.
Yeah.
It's about getting more exposure.
I don't know, Webster Arts are supposed to help with that.
So did I.
At least we're all on the same page.
Well, going back, actually, I did have a question about that because this commission, what are we? We're a commission, right? Yeah, is supposed to have a member of Webster Arts, a standing member. Is that true? And do we have that? And do we need that?
Well, I know that I spoke with Patrick Murphy, who's the president of Webster Arts, asking if there'd be somebody from his commission who would like to join, and he said he would apply. So I spoke with him recently. He said he has put in his application. So
He used to be on it, and he's really good. He's great.
So hopefully, and David, he has to be approved by the commission, but hopefully that paperwork has been reviewed, and he will be. I'm hoping we'll be welcoming him onto our board shortly.
Can we move to city update, sir?
I don't have much to provide you guys. You guys have talked about the budget. I think that's really important. And if I can be of any assistance, or if Chief Ellis can be of any assistance as you guys go through that process, please reach out to us. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, the city council approved the KDC, BJC psychiatric mental hospital up in Northwest Webster. Beyond that, we are in full swing of budgeting for the following or the next year. So it's about the extent of what's going on in city right now.
Anything else?
Could I add something for what I'm hoping could be part of a future meeting? Could we schedule, and I don't know what the right timing would be, since next meeting I think will be a lot of the budget and hopefully what we plan to be doing. But I think it would be a really good idea to invite Ander to one of our meetings to find out what his plans are at this stage. They're very early, and to give him our support and to find out what we might be able to do to support him later. Also, that might be a really good property to think about for public art if he wants to allow that later. But I think asking him to one of our meetings would be a really good thing for us to do, because his purchase of that property is huge.
I'm happy to reach out to Jim, but did you say you had a connection?
Yeah, but the more the merrier,
All right.
especially with his city email address. Great.
You know, can I also add something with the KDC Missouri thing and Children's Hospital new facility? Is that I've been having some discussions with some art therapists, and I don't know much about art therapy, but it is a big deal and it's really effective, particularly with kids. And it's like, and I don't know if this is a social service project or whatever, but it's like, how can the arts in Webster Groves help the facility at KDC from an art therapy standpoint, which I think would be a new dimension.
It's an interesting thought process, Dave.
I believe we have come to the end of our agenda, and we have had a couple of good discussions. And anything from Zoom land before we
Thank you, Dottie.
adjourn? All right, everybody, next time, March 4th at 8:30 a.m. Same place.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Not here.